Flyover State of Film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Welcome back, beautiful people, to another week of Flyover State of Film. I got TJ, Brian, and Yusuf here. The boys are back and we are bustling. What's going on, guys?
Bustling?
I don't
What does
fucking know.
bustling mean?
I was trying to be radio voice.
I don't like
Well, the voice was pretty good.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
Like a water, and it just kind of
How's,
made it look real bad on camera.
Oh, shit, I forgot my water. It doesn't matter. How's everyone's week going? Anything new?
Bro, extra formal.
So obviously everyone has a significant other or a wife. So what I do is I ring this bell, and then she comes in and brings me water. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
Yeah,
usually
yeah, that's-
send.
yeah,
I can
that's
send
how we
Laura
all-
a text after this
Y'all know
intro.
how that works.
Do me a
Yeah.
favor, Yusuf, cut that part out so I don't get slapped, okay?
The funny thing is,
No,
I'm
actually,
waiting on
let's
food.
like it'd be hilarious
Before the
if this
podcast, I
slowly-
put stuff in the oven, and my wife is legit gonna bring it up when I haven't eaten
Terrible.
since like 12. So
misogynist.
it's so
No,
fucking
I
funny
think we
because
should
this
just
is
let
literally,
this.
I think, the only time she's ever done this for me, and it's
Let's
gonna be.
let this podcast slowly transition into one of those trad wife podcasts where we just like
Yeah.
talk about how like women should just stay at home and
Women.
cook and
they're always
wear dresses and put their hair in buns and shit.
Just bothering
Now, I
us.
was editing this, Yusuf, right here, so I put in the Will Smith, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth clip. You know what I
Now
mean?
we could talk about it.
Now we
Last
can talk
episode we
about it.
couldn't.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now
Pero
it's
me encanta
passe.
esperando tu comida. Thank you.
So, having things that we don't want to talk about, NFT movies.
Oh, I can't
yeah.
believe Kevin
Funny
Smith
Yeah.
found a new way to make less people watch his movie. Because now he's gonna make people like have an NFT or some shit to see it, and even his fans are like, pass. So
I made
I don't
a
know.
joke that like he should have just put something on Quibi, no one was seen, and they Googled it, and he did make something for Quibi.
Everybody got. That's the one thing Quibi did was get everybody paid. Like every creator in Hollywood, I feel like got a taste of the Quibi pie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
You want a deal?
Yeah. You know what made me so mad about this is like Kevin Smith is the type to do this NFT type of movie and then get like Affleck and Depp and like any little fucking person he's ever had some type of like a jerk off session with into the film. Mind you, just like Brian, I was a big Kevin Smith fan.
He
Probably-
makes it hard. He makes it embarrassing to be like.
Yeah, it sucks. It hurts.
Like, I want to go back and tell all the people over the years who I talked to about how much I liked him. Like, whoa, I mean, his old stuff, and I've matured a lot since then.
Yeah.
It's like he's gonna throw these big names in there with all of his also younger names that you've all seen, like Halloran and all those type of characters. And at the same time, it's like I'm sure it's cool if you spent that money on it, which sucks if you did. I don't know where you are, what film school you're going to, or whatever it is you're very sad about. But it's like he's going to use those big names that he has somewhat of connection with to kind of push that, which always sucks.
Did they say how much it's gonna cost?
I don't even know
But
how
it's-
the NFTs work, to be honest with you.
Isn't NFT like one person buys it and owns it? It's not like a group.
I think what it is like it's going to be like first of all, we'll all be able to get the whatever movie he's making eventually, but it's going to be like special prints, right? Like if you get like they're only producing 200 of the posters, and it's going to be marked like 150 out of 200. I think that's how the movie's going to work. Like there's going to be a batch of copies available, but then one person's just going to rip it and put it out there for everyone, and then it's going to be available to purchase on VOD. No one's making a movie to only give 200 of them out or 2,000 of those copies out.
He's working on a Moose Jaw movie, which was like a hockey fighting, like he was
Is
supposed
that
to be doing
actually happening?
Yeah,
What
it's
is the
supposed
previous
to be the
movie that he
third
made?
part of this crappy
Yeah.
little trilogy of Tusk and Yoga Hosers.
So it's like, is it that or is it something like?
And Clerks 3.
Yeah.
Supposedly that's happening.
I think that's done.
Hopefully
What's
he
the last
got.
one that he made?
Yeah, well, he made that Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which was fucking unwatchable.
Nah, the most offensive thing I heard was listening to a podcast today where they were talking about Kevin Smith. And the guy goes, yeah, if I were to recommend any new fans, I would just tell them to do the reboot because the other stuff doesn't hold up unless you're a fan. And I'm like, that's the last thing I would
That's
tell
the
someone to
opposite.
watch.
Like, you literally can't watch the reboot if you're not a fan because all that it is references and callbacks and cameos. Like, that, I can't believe that. That's like the most ignorant thing I've ever fucking heard.
I'm guessing it didn't make
I
any
hate
money,
that guy. I want to go find that guy and beat him up.
I don't know, he sounded very nice on the, but it was like odd suggestion. That's like being
I'm
like, you know
guessing
what?
that
I want
reboot
to beat
didn't
him
make
up.
any
I don't
money,
care how
right?
nice he was.
Don't worry about the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Just watch the remake. It's a little more palatable to the
You
eyes.
get the gist. Like,
Did it make any money?
They take the child molestation more seriously in that one.
Did it make any money? That movie? No, that movie, the last one.
Reboot? No, he did like a road show with it, and then it went right to VOD.
Yeah, he like.
I mean, he's just using like gimmicks to hide the fact that he's no longer an attraction at all as a bottom.
Well, only because only his specific group of fans really see his movies. He's just like hyper focused on catering to them.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got like just enough people to keep him fed. And he just as long as he can churn out content for them, and also his whole persona as like a professional fanboy is really like gross.
It's really almost like having a YouTube channel and starting a Patreon and charging fans to audition for your YouTube channel. It's kind of that.
Yeah, it's that level for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did someone do that?
Yeah.
Maybe just some guy we've
somebody who did that. All right.
Yeah.
Maybe they had like a.
Do you want me to give you a multiple choice?
You could buy your way into it.
He's doing it's really original horror movie idea too. I mean, like no one's ever tried making a low budget horror movie.
That guy sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck him. Anyway, but I'm just saying, like with Kevin Smith, it's like it hurts for me. Hurts for Brian, and also I'm talking about like he only focuses on like the West Coast, like LA scene, and that small part of like Northern Jersey, New York, Red Bank area. If you go anywhere like Midwest, if not like Central America, USA America, no one fucking really knows who Kevin Smith is. They know Clerks, maybe.
Early stuff, Clerks, Mallrats, I mean, I'm sure there's like pockets of Wisconsin that are really into Mallrats because it's supposed to take place there.
I remember I showed, not like a couple years ago, maybe like Laura or something. She wasn't familiar who Kevin Smith was, and I showed her like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. She was like, I hate this. And it's in the same era. It's in the same era of the movie we're going to talk about later in the show. Like that same like 2 DVDs I had and replayed.
But compared to Reboot, like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is actually a lot of fun.
I like Jay and Silent Bob.
I think he's definitely like. I even enjoy Clerks 2. I think Clerks 2 is fine. Not good. It's not on par.
The only movie my wife has seen is Tusk, and she fucking hates him as a human being.
It's so bad. Tusk is awful. Tusk is like the perfect encapsulation of what sucks about Kevin Smith now. He got really too into weed in that annoying way. So he's like a kid in high school. Well, he's like a kid in high school who got like just found out about weed, and that's all he talks about. And then so you got that like self-fulfilling, because he made a career of talking at like from like 2000 on. He gets like up his own ass about how smart and funny he is, and he's like, so like he thinks that an idea that him and his stoner friends spitball on a podcast is worthy of making a movie about. And then movie is directed in that way where it's like you can tell you're just in love with your own dialogue, and I get you really got into this one older actor, but Jesus Christ, like, can you do something other than point the camera at him and let him talk for 25 minutes?
Yeah.
And then Rush, what's interesting about it, like the breaking of Justin Long's mind and creating of this, but Rush all that in the very end. You know, it's everything about
You know
it
what
sucks.
should
And add on top the shitty Johnny Depp character.
Oh
Is that the
God.
French guy where he had the big fake nose
Yeah,
on?
And I
Dupont.
was a fan of
Dupont.
Yoko Hosers for like 5 minutes, and I'm just like, after I watched it, I was like, oh, it was fun. I was like old Kevin Smith, and I was like, that was a fucking awful film.
Yeah, that was an
Just
abortion.
like thinking it in, I was like, there was
I couldn't bring myself to watch that
It
one
was
after
bad.
Tusk.
It
And
was
I'll come
bad.
right out and say it. I like Red State too.
Red
I
State's
thought Red
actually
State
good.
was an interesting and exciting moment where I was like, "Oh, is Kevin Smith going to evolve and do something different and become a different kind of filmmaker?" Nope, no was the
Well, that's
answer to
even
that.
like that's even like I don't mind like the difference and like maturity of, it sounds weird to say maturity, but maturity of like Zack and Miri Make a Porno is a better movie than it should be.
It's like him doing a Judd Apatow movie.
Yeah, it's exactly what that is.
Like, you know.
It's Judd Apatow.
I always forget that he made that one.
Yeah, it's fine.
I think it comes in the fact that like the actors he brought in for that one are like more for Judd Apatow films, so work as if it was like Craig Davidson in that is probably one of the best roles. Like, what are you doing now? And he's like, I'm working at a dog fucking like grooming place. And he pulls the BMW keys. Like, you have BMW? He's like, oh, how'd you know? And like throws him the keys. Like those type of fucking like small roles in that shit.
That's
He's from.
That's Hot Tub Time Machine.
That's Hot Tub Time Machine. To you.
There you go. Same shit.
I was like, wait.
Whatever. Anyway.
Thanks, TJ, for your vast movie knowledge.
Yeah,
that was a good warm. That turned out to a pretty good warm-up topic. Anytime you
yeah,
want
that's good.
to rag on Kevin Smith, but also kind of pine for the glory days of Kevin Smith.
Yeah, but I mean, today Kevin Smith would probably be pretty problematic if like he
Stop
was coming up
it!
today.
That's a sweaty
Maybe.
segue. It's all greased up, sweated up.
That was probably my best segue of all time. I'm not good at that.
So obviously we were going to recast the Flash. Ezra Miller's been shitting the fucking bricks for most movies he's in. But other than that, are there movies you guys? We've probably talked about this before, but are there movies you guys love with a problematic actor in it that you kind of just like throw it away? I'll jump right off the bat. It's the one person we kind of joke about all the time with Howard the Duck, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Mom and Dad Save the World, which is one of my favorite.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, yeah.
It's Jeffrey Jones, obviously.
That's not problematic. That's criminal.
Yeah, but it's like
Well, but it can go both ways. Like being a criminal is very problematic. You know?
You know what it is? Jeffrey Jones is 90% of the time like a supporting character where I could look past him and like still enjoy Beetlejuice. Or I'm sorry, no, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or whatever.
But there are moments where like I wish I could pick Mom and Dad Save the World because I love that fucking movie. It's one of those like throwaways, really shitty films. John Lovitz is incredible in it. Budnick from Salute Shorts has a very small role also in it. But it's like one of those things where he's a lead. He's the main guy, which I just can't bring myself to do it. But also, if I'm alone in my house, I will throw that fucker on and watch it. You know what I mean? But it's those type of like characters. If you guys have those films, like obviously there's the
you
main.
Still get the Superstation?
Was it?
You still get the Superstation channel? I feel like that's the only channel for playing Mom and Dad Save the World.
Yes, baby.
UPN 9 maybe?
Yes, UPN 9. It is like Saturday morning 11 a.m. or Sunday morning like 12. Like those are the only times you see that movie. But like, who you guys off the top of your head? We saw Brian. You're about my age. So.
Well, a big one for me because it's a double hitter is The Usual Suspects. So you got Bryan Singer directing and Kevin Spacey starring. So you're just a couple of fucking scumbag criminal pervs, just bad dudes.
Kevin Spacey's a hard one because like I throw
a lot of dudes in a lot of good movies.
He's in a lot
so many. Like watching Horrible Bosses made it like less funny of a role.
Swimming, I'm more of a swimming with sharks guy, but I get you.
7.
And 7, like
so 7's the big one.
7 is incredible, but at least he's a criminal in that. You'd be like, yeah fuck you, Kevin Spacey, you're a bad guy.
Small role at the end.
K-Pax.
That's probably my low hanging fruit answer. That's probably the one that like I probably said if we did this topic last time, so I was trying to think of something else, and then I remember that there's a movie I always bring up on here anytime it's a question about something people haven't seen or whatever or something. I talk about Free Fire, and Army Hammer is one of the leads in that, and so he is now a problem child.
Cannibal.
I am very.
Also, I probably did a lot of tweets where I said he should be Adam Warlock.
I think you did.
I was like, that was before. So
yeah, no one knew he ate
they're
people.
dated now.
I don't like that there's no conclusion to that story. Like, does he actually, has he, and what is his opinion about cannibalism as a whole?
Well,
like, I feel like it was teased in season 1 and we're like season 10 and nobody has brought it up.
Well, the thing is though, the excuse was he was auditioning for that new movie Fresh, and was getting the role of character, but got fired, and they replaced him with Sebastian Stan.
I think he's just a sex perv.
Yeah, he's just into. He probably has never eaten.
He's into like rough sex play. He's probably not into eating flesh, but he likes to fantasize and make weird dark. And he's probably one of those dudes who thinks that like that dark shit is like real cool and smart and makes him cool and interesting. And it's just like whatever. You're just a bland white dude.
Definitely add Army Hammer with that into the Social Network.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I've never seen the Social Network.
2 of those.
It's a very good film about Silicon Valley.
I never seen.
Huh?
Ryan said never saw Social Network.
No.
Oh, okay.
I just never cared. I didn't care about the creation of Facebook.
I almost got jumped when I saw the Social Network.
What do you mean?
Oh yeah.
I was leaving the theater. I was on a date and I was leaving the theater, and some guy like drives up real quick, parks the car, comes running out. I'm like, what? And the guy's going real quick, fast to me, and he goes to swing, and I duck, and he runs away and then runs back in his car. It was like he was like cracked out or something like that. I was in college in the middle of PA. It was like so quick it all happened where like I like pushed him out, but I didn't like get into a fight, but he was clearly coming to attack, but I think he was just trying to scare me. It was weird. That's all.
He just wanted to get a punch in before he went home.
All it was fucking
it's
weird.
Like, fuck Social Network.
Because I was walking out of the movie like, that movie was so good. I love movies.
It's like, I hate Social
You were all like, I love movies.
Yeah.
Maybe he was one of the twins, one of the Winkle.
He's the one who was the Winklevoss. He came up trying to smack.
Literally, just been doing drive-bys at all the theaters.
It was a drive-by punching in a parking lot. I don't know, but I didn't get punched. But I think that was the intent.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I gotta pick Mel Gibson, baby.
That's mine. Literally, Mel Gibson.
Road Warrior. No, I got Road Warrior.
Oh.
I love Mad Max. The first one is good. It's not it. Thunder, it's but Road Warrior, man, it's such a good fucking movie.
I feel this too because I've like over the last week or so, like my dad energy, I could feel myself working up to a rewatch of Braveheart.
We were talking about that recently.
I must watch Braveheart like 20 times when I was a kid. Like I just watched that shit sounds like a 3-hour movie, and I would just pop it on. I'm like, yeah, I'm 12. I watch Braveheart. What's up?
Patriot, Lethal Weapon.
Oh, The Patriot, man, that movie slaps.
It's something on like Netflix or Hulu, and like an ad came up for Fathers 2. And she's like, "Oh, I want to see that," and I just looked. I was like,
Mel Gibson's fake movie. I'm sorry, Mark Wahlberg's fake movie.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's a very that one is a double. If you end up liking it, like that one is a twofer as well, because Marky Mark is a very problematic person as well.
Yeah, I feel like he's really slid under the radar. It's like
we've talked about him a lot on the show, which is good.
We're holding him justice.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Our 20
this guy
fans now.
Recently. Whatever happened to Casey Affleck?
Yeah, he went kind of radio silent after Ghost Story, right?
Yeah, him and Franco disappeared.
Emil Hirsch kind of fall through too.
Yeah. Franco's one where I still enjoy a lot of the movie he's in, and we'll watch something like Pineapple Express. This is the end.
Yeah.
That whole separate.
This is the end is probably one of my favorite comedies of the last fucking 10 years. I love This is the End. It's so funny.
So my biggest separate the art from the artist thing has always been Rosemary's Baby. Like,
yeah, that's a tough one too. Sure.
like I love that movie. I think that movie's a really great movie. It's so hard to get past the Roman Polanski-ness of it all.
But also like, at the same time, like I think Jeepers Creepers is one of like the great like modern horrors, and it's almost impossible to watch that fucking.
No, you and me both threw it out before we
Yeah.
even knew each other.
So it's like one of those things. Like
I have that same thing with Rosemary's Baby too, because I love that one, and that's a hard. It's like you hate to be like, damn, this is a fucking good movie, because like you don't want to give him any credit, you know? Like,
the guy who fucking shitted on Halloween, who did all the new stuff with
Rob Zombie.
No, the other guy,
David Gordon Green.
Yeah, that guy. Supposedly he wants to take Jeepers Creepers and like remake the whole.
Make it a shit.
Well, yeah.
I thought they were doing The Exorcist. Aren't they?
They are doing The Exorcist.
They're bringing like Justin Long as like the old forgotten mother who comes back and tries to take on Jeepers Creepers. Like, okay.
Well, hell, even I mean, it's borderline like even
legacy sequel for Jeepers.
Even just like the stories of Uma Thurman's story from Kill Bill of the stunt that Quentin Tarantino made her do, and like fucked her like physicality up for a decade.
It's like problematic that like you're a young director, you're trying to get a shot. She's a young actor.
He's not a young director doing Kill Bill.
I think that's different than being problematic. That is a discussion about consent between actors and directors, and I agree it's something that needs to be talked about, needs to be hammered out between, and like what happened to her was fucked up. But I don't know. Again, like
no.
I'm just not putting it on the same level.
No, it's not the same level. I just got reminded of it. It's not the same level. We're talking about.
But it's like one of those things to where like, you're not wrong with saying he's not a young director, and like he's early in his career, but he's not young, so he's been in the game for a minute. Like there's definitely a moment where he probably should step back and be like, all right, I'm fucking this up. But like, would we be surprised if like some shit came out about Death Proof like years later? You know what I mean? Like those type of things. Like, you know, it's just like you kind of. I should have maybe questioned that a little bit more. Like, what actor director would you be less surprised at if they became problematic with some story like from the past? You know what I mean?
Tarantino #1.
Yeah, he's gonna line up.
Right. I mean, between the weird feet thing and he loves the N-word so much. I mean, there's definitely like you could see him popping off at any moment.
I feel like Fincher as well can be put in a certain light of kind of like a Kubrick in terms of how much he forces actors to do scene after scene after scene after scene.
And what about the guy who directed like isn't the guy who directed like that the Vince Vaughn movie where he's in prison and that dragged across concrete? Isn't that guy problematic too? I can't remember.
Cell Block. Brawl and Cell Block.
Brawl and Cell Block. I feel like the guy who directed that is a borderline guy. Like,
well, he's
I've heard about him.
Do physical violence on film. Like he wants you to actually do physical violence on film.
Yeah.
So actors that he gets to play those roles, he's like those actors are the type of like Colin Farrell, like just punch me as hard as you can, dude. I'm here. And it's like okay, but Vince Vaughn's the type like he's a big dude. If he hits someone small, I can't remember the guy. It's one of the first scenes. Dude's like 5'7", beats the shit out of. It's like, could you imagine him like, dude, just lay into him?
Yeah, like 6'2", 300 pounds of Vince Vaughn on top of you. Like,
well, I think we should take this with a grain of salt. Speaking about Fincher too, I think Jared Leto was out here recently talking about in Fight Club how several of the punches and all of that were not choreographed.
Oh, yeah. So I owe Brad Pitt a beer then, or what are we talking about? What's that?
No, I think he was trying to be like
shake his fucking hand.
I don't. So I'm saying maybe Fincher also is just like just punch him.
That actually he jumps the list before Tarantino. Jared Leto has to be like.
There's lots going on with Jared Leto. They're talking about he's got this predilection towards young actresses. He's got the weird cult thing going on.
Yeah, he's a cult leader, full cult.
Yeah, like there's a lot going on with Jared Leto.
Or his bandmates.
Any method actor asshole is like always on the border of getting fucked up by something.
That's
like
why in my brain I'm like,
Marlon Brando, another one problematic.
He's definitely shelling out cash to somebody to keep quiet. So he's like, I'm gonna do Morbius. I'm just gonna get him Marvel money. Yeah. Whatever it is, and just do it. go method with it, but that dude is something's gonna come out real soon.
I feel like I have a strong opinion that method actors simply do not know how to act.
Well, so it was interesting when I talked to the woman who did Velocipaster. I used the phrase method actor because you're talking about Shia LaBeouf, another problematic guy you could put in this camp. And she corrected me. It was the first time I guess I'm really talking to an actress, and she was like, all actors use method, so just basically call them assholes. Like, like every time someone acts, they're using some form of method. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I can't argue your perspective. You are actually, it's your career.
Let's call them immersive actors.
Yeah, like.
Right.
Would you consider like a Randy Quaid a problematic actor, like in the Christmas Vacations and all that shit, since he's playing already a crazy person in that movie?
I mean, he's kind of like,
doesn't it fuel?
He's like, it's like with him, it's like the thing with Kevin Sorbo or any of those guys. If those dudes were in something I actually gave a fuck about, them being MAGA chuds wouldn't throw me off. I mean, that makes you an asshole or whatever, but like, I can get past that. I'm more like, it's weird how we've had to draw the line at like criminal. You know what I mean? Like, used to be you could kind of get mad at like, oh, this guy's a piece of shit. He left his wife for a younger actress and he abandoned his kids or whatever. It's like, he didn't do anything illegal. He didn't commit any actual crimes.
Yeah.
Like, yes, some people's feelings got hurt and he's gonna have to reconcile that with his family or whatever. But like,
yeah, it's not your fucking business.
Yeah,
I'm just watching a movie.
Leave that shit out your mouth. You know.
I don't have to go
it's
do
like, I don't. It's like, I don't want to watch him. He was on the news talking politics, and it's like, no, it doesn't matter. You just watch the movie.
I'll watch Hercules still.
I'll watch Hercules right now.
Although Shia LaBeouf just like, that's a man who got a full chest tattoo for a movie no one saw.
That poor kid, man. I feel bad for mostly for Shia LaBeouf. I'm like, they fucked him up. It's funny because like people are getting a lot of young actresses are getting a little more sympathy for that. But it's like Disney kids aren't all just girls. Like, you got some boys who got messed up too.
Yeah.
Logan Paul.
Yeah, exactly. One of those Sprouse kids and one of the Sprouse kids.
I think they're both pretty good. I think they're both pretty level, the Sprouses. But you're right. It's not just the girls.
Sprouse is the kid who called out Jared Leto like before anybody.
Was it? Okay.
You're hitting up all my friends who are supermodels and they're 18, but you're fucking 48. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he tweeted at him, be like, "What's your secret?" I mean, like, what's your success rate? Like, no, I think Sprouse ones are normal.
That's the belly button. Hell yeah.
But I mean, another creeper, Drake Bell, not Disney, but like, he's fucking whacked out of his mind.
I didn't follow that story at all.
I think stuff with underage girls, and then like he lives in Mexico. He's like a Mexican like pop star now.
But isn't Mexican at all.
No, but like
appropriates
it.
Yeah.
And then was spotted in like I think he was like spotted in Disney World with like, I have a wife and a kid. I didn't tell anyone for years. Like right when it was like all weird shit. Yeah, they're all kids. Most kid actors are all fucking screwed.
Yeah, right. It's actually more surprising when they don't end up fucked up. You're like, oh, good for you. All right, awesome.
I'm like,
that shit would mess up your brain.
Yeah, Nickelodeon, like their stable is almost like an apocalypse landscape.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm not going to acknowledge that. Let's keep talking about this stuff.
Welcome to Gossip, Flyer Fear of Gossip. I'm going to read the latest Star magazine.
Topics. This was my topic. It's just a question, really. Is it movies? Lots of movie apocalypses out there. Lots of apocalyptic stories, whether it be weather related or a natural disaster or aliens or zombies. Lots of ways the world could end, irradiated, whatever. So I just wanted to ask the boys, which apocalypse is most appealing to you? What's a place, the world, society as we know it? And I wanted to put this out there. No, we don't have to worry about, like, if you pick one where it was a plague, you don't have to worry about still getting the plague. We're assuming that we're on the other side of the apocalypse now. You survived whatever you needed to survive. Boom, go. And anyone can go first. I don't care.
I'll jump right in.
Great.
I think that because with my type of personality and the way I get along with animals, I think that for me, I'm going with the Matt Reeves Planet of the Apes apocalypse. I
Okay.
think that would fall right into like the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, where like I want to like get power back to my people, but also at the same time make a treaty with them and just be probably on their side more than the Gary Oldman side. If anyone's never seen that movie, it's one of those things where it's like you pick one side and you're either fucking far right or far left. Not political. This is not a political
I know
podcast.
what you mean, man.
Yeah, it's like I think that I'd fall. I can't remember the actor's name. He was in Terminator. What's it called?
Oh, Jason Clarke was in that,
Yeah.
right?
Clarke.
He's in Terminator Genesis.
I would
I was
fall
gonna say-
into his kind of a role to where like I'm more leaning on the side of the apes, but also like I got to help my people out. My son's sick. I got to get electricity into the city. I think that's also one of those things where if you pick the right side, which we all know what the right side is, if the war comes to it, you're gonna have as long as you get what's the name out of the equation.
Caesar?
No, the bad one. Not
Talking about
Rock.
Woody Harrelson? Koba?
No,
Oh,
Cobra. Yes, as long as you get him out of it, you're pretty good. But like I was like zombies, no, because you either have fast zombies or slow zombies. Like if I had to have something on my side, it would probably be a chimpanzee or a gorilla. So I'm going full on Matt Reeves, Planet of the Apes, like Apocalypse.
Okay,
I'm
Okay.
going, I'm
So
leaning-
this was on my list too. This
Yeah.
was on my list too. And I even, for different reasons, I was like, shit, I live on the East Coast. All that shit's happening Pacific Northwest. Like,
Yep.
the apes around me might not even be all organized like that. Like, just avoid them all together and live your
just a
fucking
bunch
life.
of orangutans, just like.
But
and those-
here's the thing. In the third Planet of the Apes movie, the one you're talking about, Matt Reeves' universe,
Yeah.
they introduce the continuing virus. We talked about being on the other side of it, except that in that one, the virus has continued to mutate, and now it is making primitive humans. So eventually, you would become a
TJ's halfway
primitive
there,
human.
though.
Yeah, well, as long as you're fine with that.
I know that's a really good pick. I'll I think I would just be too like it's so minimalist of an area, like I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
Like-
you need some more like accoutrements. you know?
Yeah, I think so. So that's why I want to go with Shaun of the Dead.
Mm.
It seems like, they got the zombie outbreak well under control to the point where they're domesticating them. And you get some hardships here or there, but you're still probably living a pretty normal life. Things are going to return.
that one
Shaun of the Dead.
to get beat.
I thought this about Romero too. I was like, a walking zombie apocalypse is survivable. You know what I mean? Like, if I had to pick one of that type, definitely gonna go with walking and not running. What about you, Yusef? What do you got?
Okay, so fair warning, this is gonna get dark. When you asked this question, I kept thinking about, it's right now I have a house, air conditioning, the job, food in my fridge, and I'm pretty tired of life. So I can't imagine like actually actively surviving in an apocalypse. Like actually picking a place where I have to be like, oh shit, I gotta go hunt, I gotta go kill the zombies or kill the monkeys or whatever you want to say. So I was looking for a fast, casual apocalypse in where I don't have to pretend that I want to survive this chaos, and that is Melancholia. Melancholia, a planet is heading towards the Earth. They have a few months to live. Everybody just does their shit.
You just
And
know
eventually
there's nothing to do. It's just happening.
It's happening, and it's like just be you and take a shit, and the planet is just gonna collide on you, and it's gonna.
I thought Yusef's pick was gonna be Children of Men, like no kids. Perfect universe for Yusef. Everything's still basically the same, just no fucking kids.
There's no fucking kids.
This is the movie with Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah.
Melancholy has Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah,
I
I've
thought it
never,
was his
I've never
son.
even heard of it.
it's the acquired taste. I won't recommend it.
Yeah, it's a
Not good.
slower. I've never seen it myself, but it's got that. It's a win. Who is it? Nicholas Winding Refn? Is that a
Yeah.
Winding Refn movie? Yeah, I thought so.
The guy from Antichrist.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
and he's done some more conventional stuff too.
yeah.
Well, like-
It's literally very. It's true to its title. Like you really do feel like you're.
It's a movie like that is depression. It just is.
Well, it says a lot. Like, which one of our post-apocalyptic worlds can you survive in? Which you can't survive in USS world at all. With my world, you have a chance a little bit.
Well, you're gonna become a caveman eventually.
I think you could survive in my world.
Yeah.
Guys, I can't believe. It's funny because viewers won't understand, but I didn't have my full prep time to prepare, and I only had my one Planet of the Apes answer. My pod mates here very rudely tricked me into agreeing to change the date, and then leaving me with enough time to forget that I agreed to that. Oh, awful, fucking awful.
There was no external conversations. Nobody even followed up.
And I'm like, do I have another one? And I'm like, I don't really want to do a burned up Earth. I don't want to do a fucking zombie. And it came to me as like a flash, like a beautiful fucking Demolition Man. Demolition Man is the post-apocalypse, and it's already great. And by the end of the movie, they got rid of all the annoying, like, whiny parts, so it's going to be cool. Like, at the end of Demolition Man, they're working towards, you got all the great upgrades to the society, and it's also going to stop being lame.
So that
Taco Bell.
that show that movie might come up in the next topic.
Oh, I see. Okay, all right. I can see that. That's fair.
My honorable mention is Endgame.
Oh, okay.
Cheers.
Yeah.
No,
Snap.
my honorable mention would be Infinity War, and Endgame never happens. That way, half of the population is fucking gone. Traffic is amazing.
Hashtag Thanos was right.
Yeah.
Just
Every
ready?
time I'm in the fucking traffic driving 45 to 50 minutes to home, they're like, yeah, just
You can thin this out.
Yeah, but there's cars just left on the highway then at that point. You know what I mean?
it's a
They'll
flexible.
clear it out eventually.
Eventually, you'd move them off. You get it. Yeah, you know.
I don't know about those boats at the beginning of Endgame in the New York Harbor are all over.
You know what will be a terrible apocalypse? I was just watching the other night. The movie Us. Like everyone's doppelganger just keeps showing up to kill you.
And they're just
even if they weren't trying to
hands.
kill you, even if there was just a weird, dumber version of you just hanging around being a creep all the time.
Reverse this on the podcast next week. Hey guys.
What if you can befriend them and like, can you take today's shift? Like, can I?
Well, then you're back in the Shaun of the Dead thing where they've got them like pushing trolleys and whatnot in the end.
All right, let's do the opposite then. Topic.
Flip the flop.
Yeah, so
I
played off Brian's. He went for the apocalypse, and I went for the utopia. Clearly, because you heard my sunny view of life in my answer. So I want to pick what movie do you consider to be a paradise, or what movie paradise do you want to live in? Either or, however you want to answer it. Joe.
Yeah, so I did have, as already mentioned, Demolition Man. They kind of figured it out. It really takes like one outlier and violence of the past to disrupt that whole ecosystem, at least of what people are living in.
Yeah.
I know there's the underbelly with Dennis Leary and all of that.
But by the end, I think, like I said, they're going to get closer to what the real utopia, because they're going to kind of balance, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Taco Bell nonstop is all I want.
Yeah, talk about nonstop. I'm sure the wiping the 3 seashell method will be completely normalized by then, where it's not even.
I bet it's better. I bet they didn't change it if it wasn't better.
So
the cyber sex.
I have other picks.
I'm already doing that.
What came out first, Coneheads or Demolition Man?
Coneheads.
Demolition Man.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Demolition Man's like 93, I think.
Because that whole sex scene with Chris Farley and the girl from Dazed and Confused is one of those ones I'm like, oh shit, I would do that.
93, and I think you're right. Yeah, Demolition Man's 94.
Oh shit.
I thought Demolition Man was 93.
Oh no, they're both 93.
Yeah.
So same year.
So they came out in the same year.
There you go. Where can the people find you?
What?
TJ, what's your pick?
I was kind of like leaning towards like Danny Boyle's The Beach, just because of like, but the problematic like issues with that too is like you're going through like a weed field. Would love that. Shout out, another guy in this podcast. Yeah, but it's like one of those things where like I would love that, but this is gonna hurt the gentleman that I just referenced. I'm going with living under the bed in Little Monsters.
But you dead.
Sir, I'll grow fucking spikes.
You like have some self-respect and say you want to live in the warehouse, hang out in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's better. I'll give you that.
I'm just saying, like, I can do things, man. I could visit fucking LA in 12 minutes.
Yeah, what you want to do is creep into kids' bedrooms. I get it.
Oh shit! I just set myself on
Fucking
fire.
Oh man, if you just want to hang out with Howie Mandel, just go audition for America's Got Talent.
Who's next?
He's not going to let you touch him either.
No, germaphobe.
But wouldn't he let you touch him if he's like wearing all the makeup? Because technically you are not touching him. You're talking the prosthetics and the makeup.
Oh, okay, fair. That's a barrier between. I can't believe he let people put it on him, all the touching and gluing.
Yeah.
I can't believe we have Howie Mandel in our lives.
That's true. I can't believe we know this much. We shouldn't know this much about Howie Mandel and his little picadillos or whatever.
Picadillos. That's such a great word.
I love that word. Famous by blowing up condoms over his head. Like peak comedy.
Brian, what's your priorities?
Okay, like maybe this is where my maybe it gets a little dark for me here. My safe answer, my like warm fuzzy answer was like the Willy Wonka factory. Set me up. I'll be Charlie. I'll run the shit good. I'll be young. I'll be charismatic and playful. Cool, I'm in. But then like my darker depression, decadent answers are Wall-E before they come back to Earth when they just get to ride around in the fat chairs. I just rewatched Wall-E. Wall-E's the best Pixar movie. I fucking love it. Even though there's like a whole fat shaming subplot, I still love it. And I also would love to just live my life in a chair. It seems pretty awesome. They do not talk about the bed sore situation in that world, which would come up. That's gonna come up.
Yep.
Well, their bones have evolved into they can't even walk.
Right. Questionable because they all do get up and walk eventually at the end.
That chair has like a very cooling system and like massages your muscles.
It would have to shift you slightly, like I said, to keep from getting pressure bruises and pressure. But anyway, then
you think there's a machine that sucks up the cum?
How do they procreate? Right? Do they have like a blowjob machine and then?
Yeah.
So check it out. At the end, when they're going to leave and go back to Earth, a little plastic helmet comes out of the chair and goes over their head. So you imagine one would just come up over the genitals, and then it would like an artificial would just suck it out, and then it's all done
like cows.
It's all done
Like they shit in there.
Where can I sign up for this work?
Do you think that the Pixar people thought that through?
Someone has had this conversation when making that movie. They're all adults.
How do they procreate? And they're like, kind of like Freddie Got Fingered, the horse, kind of like that situation.
I hate that movie.
They just put it in a bag and then just
send it on down the road.
Can't wait, guys.
No, wait, I didn't get to give my darkest answer, though.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm working my way up the ladder here. I had my safe answer, and then I had my, depression answer.
I feel like you would like to be living on the ship from Alien.
No, I was thinking the weird freak sextet from 300. You got, the goat-headed guy and the weird, the ladies with the hooks and whatever. I'm in. Just sign me up. I'll be one of you. I'll be the gimp in there. I'll get in on some of that. That's just it's too fucked up. I can't resist.
Just really get weird with it.
Right. This is what it is. I'm really gonna get into my baser instincts here and just give in to my worst impulses.
But are you like a normal? Or are you the one, the creep that is just
No, I'm just me in the freak sextet.
Get all weird with it.
Right. I'm like a keeper. I shovel the goat poop.
You're a janitor in the
I get in on it.
Sex dream? You're a janitor?
I'm also a janitor.
He's just like Breakfast Club. He's like, by the way, that clock, 20 minutes fast.
What? I mean, I can't.
Keep
I
it
have to have my little
hydrated,
shame
like
job because I
passing
feel bad
fog.
about myself for being in the freak tent.
Your water. Stay
You love the
hydrated.
freak tent.
It's Utopia. It's the darkest timeline.
That is, I also
The
did
fire
put
zone, like
the
brings
Lego.
dogs.
I put the Lego movie in my Utopia. Just
That's not a post. Okay.
no,
No,
it's
no
Utopia.
post it just has to be in Utopia. And I agree, the world of Lego in the Lego movie is like if you were the dumb Chris Pratt guy and you
You
just
don't
like
know
were
any
happy.
difference.
You should have chose
But do you want to be the Matrix version, or when everybody like became master builders and they were like free?
No, I still like the Matrix version. I think.
Or do you want to be the Chris Pratt that haunts the Jennifer Lawrence character and just sitting in a ship? You know what I mean?
Ooh, what a rapey
What is it
movie.
about Chris Pratt and sci-fi? Like, other than Guardians, just stay
suck.
away. Stay away from sci-fi, man.
What's the other one? The Tomorrow War or
Yeah, the
something?
Tomorrow War. That looks like
Oh, wait.
trash.
Yeah, I didn't watch.
So I picked I've been told, and I disagree with this term, but I've been told that I'm a hipster. But I don't think I am.
No, you
But
are.
I would love to live in a world where like symmetry and pastel colors are abound. And Grand Budapest Hotel, that would be a wonderful world to exist in.
You know what's so funny? I thought you
Now,
were going to
what
say
era
her.
of Grand Budapest though? Because it's different. Like
Yeah,
current, like
I want to be like the bellboy.
the prime. You know, like the prime years. Yeah.
Never seen it.
Yeah, so it's so honestly, it's like so pleasing to the eye, and everything is so perfect, and everybody dressed so well, and everybody's
would-
so quirky and proper.
I hadn't seen it for a long time. It was very good when I
It's
finally
a good
did get around
movie.
to watching it.
You would fit right in, Yusuf.
Yeah, I'll be right there, baby. I'll just grow a little bit of like a tiny
You
mustache.
be the Tony. You want to be Tony Revolori?
Yeah, I'll
You
be a
and Ray
better Tony.
Fiennes.
And I'll stop hitting on
That's-
Danny online. I mean, consider mine. So, and the other one that I
I want to
picked
be Royal
was
Tenenbaum. So
Love that movie.
that one would be great because I could just be in tracksuits all the time and I'll be just comfortable.
Mhm.
I'm a fan of tracksuits.
You know,
But the other one I picked was the Rum Diaries, and that's just because it's set in Puerto Rico in the early 1900s, and it's just like paradise, and nothing has gone to shit yet. So I can live in like when you thought Puerto Rico was gonna be the shit years, and then you slowly realize, oh,
yeah, but you
capitalism.
gotta hang out with Johnny Depp.
That's fine. He'll pass out eventually, and I'll just do my shit.
Hmm.
You know, he's not gonna last all night.
Yusuf cuts his pinky off. He's like, there you go.
I'll smack him.
Spin him around a little bit.
Yeah, but yeah, those are my picks.
you know he can't take
Halloween
a punch.
3.
Shit, you know.
Halloween 3, or everyone's in the same time zone. I'm just kidding.
I don't know if is there a good horror movie universe you want to live? Okay. that's
No,
not-
A quiet place
Oh.
because nobody's talking. Like it's just
No, that's
I sneeze loud.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
They don't account for farts in that universe. I don't know.
And when
like
I
what if
come
you just have
out-
one bad shit?
Do you guys have this? I don't know if I'm sharing too much, but do you wake up always with a fart ready to go?
Not
Oh,
always.
always, sure, yeah.
Every time I wake up, I just boop one
Have you
out.
ever been woken up by your own fart? Yeah.
You call that fartled. You've been fartled.
Fartled. I've been fartled I've fartled my wife a few times.
Right. I've had my wife has fartled me.
Yeah.
Oh,
What'd you do that for?
wives will hit you up. You go into spoon. Oh, it's all cuddly in the morning. You throw that arm over. They blow it up, and the fur goes right up between you. Like,
All right, let's figure this out. Come on.
All right. Topic. We are movie of the week. The thumbnail. I made the guys watch Freddie Got Fingered, the Tom Green experimental comedy movie that's kind of lived rent free in my head for the last 20 something years. Has anyone? Is this a first watch for everyone?
It was the first watch for me. Yeah.
So everyone, okay.
I remember watching it as a 12-year-old and turning it off, thinking, "What the fuck am I
So
watching?"
I also saw it as a 12-year-old, and my buddy laughing like hysterically at like the LeBaron joke, like not understanding any of the jokes, and then like seeing it every now and then and going, "This is pretty funny." And then it's recently got a resurgence last couple of years because Red Letter Media did a review of it, and I think even Tom Green himself has like said like that has like given energy to like a cult audience, and like people have really spent time like dissecting it of whether it's on purpose or whatnot.
I mean,
And
it is clearly on
It's
purpose.
it's clear, and
It starts off so genuinely.
it's obviously deliberate, but like also I like there's kind of a part of me that respects the way Tom Green blew up his own spot to do this movie.
Yeah.
Like he was at the top height of his powers, peak of his game.
he could have done
And she could have done anything, and his choice. I mean, he did his like stealing Harvards or
Yeah.
whatever.
He's
But
only
when
did
he had
4 like
control, when
movies.
he got to direct and write and literally do everything, this is what he chose to make, and it's like he's remained 100% true to himself.
Hey, it's so silly.
Gotta respect that.
So I kind of dove deep in today, just with like what I could read and this, and I thought what was so silly in is it would be terrible. He says there's a real original cut of this movie that's more like, you know, makes sense and is streamlined and like use
I
different
feel like it makes
music.
sense.
But
I know it does.
this is
And
what I say about this movie, though. It's like it starts off like I went into this my first watch. I seen the commercials, the whole sausage on strings. So I mean to cut you off,
Like
but like it seems such a genuinely like made not early, but like mid '90s film where it's like it starts off with like a story and like you get this
it
guy
could have been a dirty work or a half baked.
yeah.
Yeah.
all just gets crazy at one point and it's kind of
So real quick, the plot. I mean, it's very loose. It's
You know, if you can
It's-
call it a plot.
yeah. This guy wants to go work, become an animator. So he moves to California out of his parents' basement to work at a cheese factory to bully his way as an animator, and he does not, and he is unsuccessful. But then he is
discouraged,
successful.
and he goes back and lives with his parents for a while,
Yeah.
and then he does get successful.
And what I
Just-
find so interesting, like TJ said, it was like conventional, but like there's like things in it that are so odd of like clearly like the anti-Adams, which I like Adam Sandler stuff in movies of that time, but like the kid always getting hit, but it's the most uncomfortable shit to watch when it's like mouth
Yeah,
is
like it's
bleeding.
not hit in a funny way. Like his
No.
nose, there's a
Just
whole
like the
blood
bleeding
just
through the-
smeared across his face, and he's got that like heinous stitches scar on his forehead later. Yeah.
I'm gonna say something. I have a hot take, and it's that one, I respected the shit out of this movie. I honestly ended up liking it, even though I found it too out there and like badly made at certain points. But I can see a clear line from this movie to I think you should leave. Like there is a clear
Yes.
line.
Yeah.
between
And that's the mindset I went into with it too. That like absurdist, like take this in as absurdist comedy.
Yeah.
And
obviously,
I
like
think that
I think you should leave is like more tightly made
Yeah.
and very
yeah.
well better curated, and it's probably
because
because it's
Tim Robbins has a
multiple
better
minds
mind for
working on it,
comedy.
and it's not just Tom Green.
This doesn't
So-
like your Eric Andres, your Tim and Eric's.
Yes,
They don't exist without
Without
Tom
him.
Green.
No,
I mean,
Without him.
Jackass
100%,
even
100%.
credits.
And even
you know.
Jackass and Tom Green are kind of like coming up at the same time and like doing a very similar thing. I had the same thing where I was like, some of these bits are really funny and would be funnier with Tim Robinson instead of Tom Green. Like
Yeah.
Tom Green's energy is a little annoying, where Tim Robinson has like when he does a character like that, there's like a sincerity to the way he plays it, and maybe that he's just a better performer. Or like you were saying, I think he has obviously a better mind for comedy, so his ideas are more tightly honed. Like Tom Green has a really broad idea.
Yeah.
Tim Robinson would, like tighten that up a little
and
bit
and obviously,
and find a path for it or something.
yeah, and Tim obviously has like partners. Like he's
Yeah, of
clearly
course.
working with multiple writers, multiple people, and the actors that he brings in are improvisers as well.
Do
So
you remember
you
how
get
Tom
better
Green-
end product because it's just not
Oh,
just
this
a singular
is-
person.
I don't know though. Rip Torn came to play, baby.
Oh, he killed it.
Fucking
I even think-
destroys in this. And I tell you what I really liked. It would have been really easy for this movie to be a like What About Bob, where the dad, kind of like Tom Green's real parents, are just these poor put upon people who are constantly getting tortured by their idiot son. But instead, they made Rip Torn an equally insane person. Like,
Yeah,
like the reason that
he's screaming.
Gordy is like this is because he was raised by this fucking maniac. Like,
Oh, the scene where they're like building the ramp and he like starts screaming in the window. I could not stop. I don't know why. I could not stop fucking laughing at that.
just like yeah. When
The
he
fuck?
smashes the ramp is so funny too.
And I also do love the aspect of him still being like his favorite son. Like as soon as he just like as remorse of not just as
What?
remorse of improvement from Tom Green's side, and he's like, I knew you could do it. You're my
A
boy.
kind of joke that made me laugh out loud was like the name of the movie Freddie Got Fingered is all like a throwaway thing where
Yeah,
he
it's not.
accuses his dad of fingering his brother, and then they put his brother in like a home for molested children. But one of the funny hardest I laughed in the whole movie is they've been kidnapped in a Pakistani prison for like a year and a half, and they get out and everybody's watching, and then you see that the brother is still in the home for the molested children,
Beard.
and he's grown out a beard and long hair like he's been a hostage too. But he's just like still there watching on the same couch just hanging out with those kids.
And then, like, there's like odd shit. Like the kids are watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and one of my favorite, I caught it this time at the end when they get back and like they're hostages. There's a sign that just says like, when will
When
this
is the
movie
gonna
end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Hell no, it was the perfect cut. It's 120 an hour.
that's what I said. Like,
minutes. Perfect comedy length.
Yeah.
If you sign up for it as that, right, you're all comedy. I think you should leave Tim and Eric.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a good. I think you're gonna have a good time with it.
And I prefer it to the like. I always used to get kind of annoyed. Some of the ideas Tom Green did with pranks were funny, but I never thought he didn't get punched nearly enough for me. I was like, "There's no way you do this." Show me the outtakes of him getting smacked in the mouth 10 times.
Well, he makes money off of like doing that weird thing with if you've seen Charlie's Angels, the first one with him and Drew Barrymore, like obviously probably got together during this movie.
They got married during this movie.
I was saying they were married maybe like when he started making this or something.
Yeah.
This whole thing where he's dry and repeats himself a lot.
Chad.
Yeah.
You like the Chad?
Chad. Like the Chad he does at the beginning of this movie, I'm like, oh, this entire movie's gonna be him being Tom Green, which I fucking love. If you watch the old Tom Green thing, like even when he got his like which to this day I don't know if it's true or not. It might be the testicular cancer thing.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they showed in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like you're sitting there and he just does that in the hospital. It's like that's his thing. It's repeating himself dry and just saying kind of like obscene things, but not necessarily too big obscene things. He's just kind of like balls are big, Chad.
Well, it's even like
over and over again.
Earlier in this episode we were talking about the this is a gross out movie. We were talking about like other movies, like there's always an unrated edition. Even the shit with the girlfriend, like there's no weird yeah, she has a whole thing about blowjobs and stuff like that, but there's no weird there's no odd like nudity for nudity's sake. It's all just violence and
this is also the only thing I think I've ever seen Ursula from Super Troopers in besides Super Troopers.
Yeah, and she I read about her, like they did an oral history. She didn't know what to expect and was like, I was on board with it then. We had to be in on the joke to like go send because it was just batshit. She's like, wouldn't do it today.
Yeah, the line at the end where they're having their big sentimental moment, and she hits it again with like, "I just want to suck your cock." It's so fun. Like the kind of like the breaking of that tension and like still like maintaining the silliness of it is so funny to me.
She said it was so hard to film that scene because she couldn't stop laughing in the rehearsal. But then they actually filmed it with the real fucking helicopter, because what Tom Green did was exactly what he did in the plot of this movie is all the money he had, he was like, what's the most ridiculous way we could do these scenes? Like going to Pakistan, which they did in Tunisia, they were like, well, can't we just use a desert here in Canada? And they were like, no, we gotta do this scene in
real
Pakistan.
Tunisian desert. I want the desert from Star Wars, bitch.
Like it was kind of just like how much money, like it says 14 million, but it's really like 18 to 20 million.
Really?
That they just
And that's
earned
why
from
he
the
got
studio.
blackballed after it, because the shit didn't make a dime.
Well, they believe also, which I kind of believe this, that kids were going to buy tickets for like, I don't know, the Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas or
No, I
something
could
like
see
that.
that. And sneaking
then
into
just
Freddie
going
Got Fingered. I
Yeah,
could see that.
because his audience was 13-year-old
Right,
boys.
it was the kids watching MTV at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I vividly.
And I always love when I see like creators introduce or involve things that they actually love to do, because you clearly see him having a blast skating through the entire like mall, and he just did his own skate mixtape in the middle of a fucking movie,
Yeah.
and I just kept watching it. And it's like he just said like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a skateboarding sequence in this entire fucking, and it's gonna last like 5 minutes, and everybody's just gonna have to watch
And
it.
it seems like
Like
a
when
normal
Mike Myers
movie.
works and then he can speak Chinese. Like, we get it, dude. You speak Chinese.
I saw one thing like Spike Jonze and him were talking about doing this movie together because Spike Jonze and him like skateboarding, Canada and stuff like that were going to do it. But then Spike Jonze, once he heard it, was like, "I'm going to back out. Do your thing, though."
That was kind of the.
I was like, the first Jackass movie comes after this, right?
Yeah, no, this is Steve-O specifically credits like, oh, I filmed everything of Tom Green. Like, we followed that shit and then like replicated on the Jackass show, and then the movie was after this. Like, the weird part about this whole movie is like the fact that a Roger Ebert at the movies review exists for this movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was not.
Could you imagine if one of us, 4 of us, had $14 million to make a movie? Like, we should do it for the next episode. Either of us had $14 million.
And you didn't
care. A real movie.
And you can make whatever you want.
Or horror. Like,
yeah.
Never happen, obviously. But, like, what would we do? I would lean towards probably a Tom Green comedy, like
something like this, some real absurdist and wacky and over the top. And
I thought it was hysterical.
This guy just in his basement making a radio show and just fucking just blew. You know what I mean? It's like one of those crazy.
Oh, and some of the Tom Green shit. I mean, he didn't get famous for nothing. The shit was funny. Like,
oh God, Brian. I think it was Brian. You just nailed it though, in the sense of like, yeah, he could have just done any comedy at this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And did he could have had a Dane Cook career 10 years.
Or he could have done like a variation, like a very popular thing, like think of something like the Jerky Boys movie, where they kind of take the concept of what, like, it would have been very a very obvious thing to do, like
the Tom Green show.
Wayne's World is like this too, right?
Yeah.
Like, he has the Tom Green show in it, and then you cast actors, errands,
you play
and
Tom
maybe
Green.
You do some weird breaking the fourth wall where you have his real parents in it. You know, he's still making a Tom Green thing where it's weird, but he took it to the next. He was like, no, I don't want to do what I've already done. I want to go. This is my big movie. I want to go big, and he went as big as he fucking could with it. Weird and easy and close.
Daniel Radcliffe's Weird Al Yankovic movie does this, or just kind of like leaves?
No, it's going to be, I think, a straight bio.
It'll be a boring biopic. But again, like we talked about Jackass of Borat, another one. I don't think you have Borat without something like this.
Nope.
Like,
no, you don't have Borat without Tom Green saying, "I have sensitive knees." That was so fucking funny. His line delivery. I know, like, he's not like the best actor, but that line delivery is so fucking funny. And also the one where he's in his scuba suit, taking a bath, and Rip Torn
the treasure, Daddy, the treasure,
screaming at him. He's like, "Get the treasure!"
when Rip Torn pulls him through the shower door is so funny too. Like, I love some of the violent physical comedy in it. Is so good.
We haven't talked about your boy. He did good.
Anthony Michael Hall. I'm so crazy upset that he's in this, and no one mentioned it before we even got into this.
I told you that. It's on recording.
Is it? Because
yeah, we always forget everything that we say.
Yeah, I immediately forget everything.
I do too, but I did say
like, somebody's my son is gonna come up to me and be like, "Dad, why do you want to live in the weird sex tent from 300?" And I'm gonna have to explain that to him.
What if be a janitor?
This guy shows up.
Do you fucking suck and clean the shit? What is up with Dad? Have some self-respect.
Well, the thing is, like, Joe, obviously, we record this. It's on the 11th of April. Joe does a whole, like, post where he's like, every time I put on fucking no, because Norm. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I watched that, and I put the movie on. I'm like, oh, Anthony Michael Hall shows up, nominated Norm.
Come on,
right away.
English Bobby.
Oh man, and my guy looks so good, and then he goes on to fucking do Halloween. Like after this, I don't know anything.
I don't know. I was fine with Anthony Michael Hall. He didn't do his racist jazz singer, so I was cool.
Yeah.
I don't like his blonde facial hair. You can't have blonde facial hair, dude. I'm sorry.
Dude.
No, don't do that.
But he was good. I felt like he was like he knew what he had to say, but when he saw like Tom Green was riffing, he was just like playing along. Like,
Yeah,
okay, I
I
get it.
I agree. I agree. Well, the scene where like Rip Torn comes in and he's like playing and like getting chased around. That was all really funny.
Yeah, he killed it. I don't know. I again, like I respect it. It's like I told my wife before watching that I remember hating it as a kid. And then she came down after I watched it, and she's like, "I heard you laugh a couple of times." And I was like, "This movie is a piece of shit, but I really respect it and I liked it." Like
Yeah,
it was like
I kind of feel the same way. I don't think it's necessarily an absurdist masterpiece like Red Letter Media kind of said, like tried to, but I do think it's a very interesting piece of alt comedy, and I think it goes super hard, and I respect that. Like,
and also like 99% of another hot take. Adult Swim cartoons is basically the fucking cartoon that he made up for shits and giggles.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you buy this physically?
I have a DVD.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap. It's like there's a shit ton of them. The DVD is pretty fun too. I mean, like I was telling you pre-recording, like the special features are all kind of jokes in themselves.
Is that
on
an unrated version?
No, this is the run. Like there's an edit Tom Green says he made that the studio head was like, wow, this is an amazing film from the first director, and then they tested it with one audience, and they completely they had him recut it down, right? And what's silly about that is it's definitely better cut down of being 87 minutes, like because there's a whole subplot with Stephen Tobolewsky is his gay uncle who works at the cheese factory, and like apparently to Tom Green says like there was a kiss with him and the guy playing his husband in it. Like they cut that whole thing out because of homophobia. And like it didn't and so Stephen Tobolewsky gets a check.
Yeah.
But and you can see some of the scenes of that online. The other thing is it had an NC-17 until they added the ADR of the little boy getting chopped up by the
and then going, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay, Daddy.
Like
the amount of blood that hits those people. I'm okay.
And clearly,
we didn't talk about the birth scene. I'll tell you the most disturbing part of the birth scene was that's a pretty new newborn baby he has. Once he's done swinging it around and shit, when he's actually holding the baby, that baby's pretty fresh.
Like that was the one scene that almost broke me. That one scene was like because it was like the singing.
I don't know.
The
jerking off the horse came pretty early.
I like the payoff of the birth scene when she goes to give him a head and he's like, oh, that's just my umbilical cord.
He clearly like stole the umbilical cord from that he bit from the baby and taped it to himself. And there's not really, he doesn't say that's what he did. He just says it's not. He's like, oh, I taped it on, but he doesn't say that but you know he did, right?
Yeah. Like, this silliest shit though is like Tom Green clearly has like embarrassment still of this movie because like he doesn't love talking about it, but he did a year or two ago because it was the 20th anniversary. And like he'll be like, he'll be like, oh, like let's move past that or whatever in every conversation, and it's kind of a shame because he just needs to like double down and own it. Like,
absolutely, he should embrace it. Like he may have torpedoed his career, but he went out in a fucking blaze where I respect the shit out of the fact that he took his big Hollywood check and was like, this is what I'm doing.
He claimed, because he even now, like, I don't know if he was fucking with the interview or like, there's a really good oral history that like Uproxx did or something. Where he's like, oh, it was a fake horse or whatever, and like the producer also in this oral thing was like, it was a real horse cock. You were bragging about it.
Yeah. I believe that the elephant cock that sprays the cum at the end is fake.
That's fake. There's no way. Horse, the deer's fake. Like
the deer is that is an excellent fake deer though.
That's definitely fake.
It's so good.
And that sequence, I legit laughed during that sequence, and I did not expect to laugh during that sequence. When he gets hit by the truck and he's like, I did not see that coming. And I was like,
It's a
man, it's so
cartoon,
fucking
man.
weird.
Yeah.
It's a living cartoon of a movie that, like, I don't know, it exists.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a hard movie. Like, I would only recommend this movie to somebody I know loves I Think You Should Leave.
Yeah, like I said, you'd have to get somebody you have to have a pretty absurd sensibility
I
and a
think my
pretty
brother-in-law would love this movie if he knew it existed.
still feel like a Cabin Boy, Freddie Got Fingered double feature tastes pretty good to me.
That is up there, definitely.
Ratings,
Ratings phase.
I'm gonna give this one a clear 5.4. Anthony Michael Hall chiseled chins. I mean,
With just a little bit of blonde stubble on there.
That's what I want. I like that. You know what I mean? My girls want me to shave my face completely. It's never gonna happen. But if I could, it'd be that. You know?
Just do the goatee.
Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, I don't want to rate it too high. Like, my
It's a weird one
instinct
to
is to
rate.
give it like a 7, but that feels too high. I respect it more than I like it. You know what I mean? Like, there are some really funny bits that I think would work better with a better performer. Like we were talking about, if you swapped out Tim Robinson in some of these parts, it would be really good and really funny. So I could get to like a 6 on this. I think I could do 6 puppeteer deer corpses. You know?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I respect it more than I like it. It did make me laugh more than I expected.
Absolutely, I 100% laughed. And
Yeah,
quite a bit.
and I really do see a lot of, like, I think it's more important to not cash in and inspire so many people that he inspired. Like, you really have to respect the fact that so much comedy came out of watching him going balls to the wall.
I think we've talked about it with Jackass too. Seeing anybody from that pre-YouTube era get popular with what would eventually become the new type of media, that, you know what I mean? Like, they were on the cutting edge, and Tom Green you can't pretend he wasn't part of that.
No.
You know,
you can't.
So yeah, 6 horse penises out of 10 for sure. Joe.
Yeah, so I'll just give it one slightly more because I agree with everything you guys say. Where it's more of the respect. I'm glad we revisited it because I think it's like they love. I feel like it's a perfect
I'm glad I watched
type
it again. Like, I'd avoided it and never watched it and had kind of a view of it. But I'm glad I 100% glad I got around to watching it.
Yeah, and I agree. It's not some absurdist masterpiece that I think like the internet's revisited as a whole to be like, yeah, no. It's just like how I was viewing.
It's a calm down internet.
It's like how you were joking the other day with like a Southland Tales. Like, it didn't work on my rewatch either. I could respect what the guy was trying to do, but it didn't fucking work.
I thought about Southland Tales. I went and saw Everything Everywhere All at Once, and I was like, oh, this is like if the guy who made Southland Tales was good at what he is.
Oh, I didn't know you saw that movie. I didn't know you saw that.
I want to see that movie.
It was good. It's excellent. I'm a big fan of Swiss Army Man too, so I didn't realize it was the same directors.
So I'll give this a 6.1, just a little slightly higher. 6.1.
I thought you were all the way 7. You went to 6.1.
Nah, 6.1. Navajo women chanting the drum.
I like that too.
Like, in the special features though, he's like such a dick. He's like, there's like a scene, I think it's in the mall, where he's like, we just got old people here as extras and I'm squirting them with water and they don't know why I'm squirting them with water, and like you just see like them like trying to clean off their pants. Like, it's like I said, it was more fun today to read up on everything I could about the movie and like listen. It's definitely
an interest. It's like, as a cultural artifact, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, and everyone was like, it was a really good set. It wasn't like an odd set to be on either.
Yeah.
A lot of people were just like, all right, Tom, do your thing, jerk that horse off.
Well, like I said, like, it was the peak and height of his power, so anybody who was working on it was probably on board, you know?
Yeah. You were like, this is a masterpiece. So Tom Green directed that movie. He's an actor, and it's my pick. So I picked another actor doing a movie, a director.
Oh, you're going to go to Mel Gibson again, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm doubled down, baby. No, my wife asked me to watch this movie with her, and I was like, you know what? Let's save it. I want to watch it with the boys and with you. We're watching Matilda.
Love that.
Oh, yes, Danny
Yeah.
DeVito.
Danny
That's excellent
DeVito.
because I actually had saved a podcast that I've been meaning to rewatch Matilda to listen to. So you've really this is a real dovetailed all our things. You got your wife's happy to watch it.
Everybody's happy. That's what I always do, man. Nobody has been ever upset with me.
Just a people pleaser for sure.
I've never once been.
I always give
fuck.
2 weeks notice for change of time and recording. I'm very conscious of other people's times. Where can the people find you, Brian?
You can find me on Twitter complaining about things like little grievances, just whining and bitching about them, being petty, then passive aggressive. It's in my nature. I can't help it.
Even if you haven't watched it, go back and watch our Flyby. I think it's already live.
Is it going to have dropped before this?
Yes.
Yeah.
What was it about again?
Andre the Giant and Ready to
wrestling
Rumble.
Stuff. Yeah, wrestling stuff.
TJ.
You guys are on Flybois State of Film podcast right now, YouTube. Check me out, TJ Dex on Twitter. Talking mad shit to everybody. Other than that, enjoy, boys and girls, and anyone else who assume.
However you identify,
Yeah.
TJ doesn't want to get canceled. Please don't cancel TJ.
You can. It's easy. Just go back.
Jokes.
You can find me all over Flybois State of Film, Flybois State of Fear.
That's the word we use.
We have plenty of fear coming out for you. So just check that out. Follow me on Twitter. All that usual stuff.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Forgot to hit stop.